Okay.
Hi, good evening to Kak Jasmine and all the viewers. Today, I, Kaisara Zafira and Clarissa Cherida will be your hosts for episode 1 of the Alumni Diaries series.
For everyone's information, the Alumni Diaries is a program organized by the Student Council. In this program, the Council has invited selected alumni to share study tips and provide a deeper insight into life after SPM. A Q&A session will be held during the last 15 minutes before the program ends. And now, I would like to invite our alumni to introduce herself to the audience.
Hello, I'm Jasmine Sini Anajalian. I am from Bintulu, Sarawak, born and raised. I went to MRS Muka in 2017 and graduated in 2022. SPM 2021. So right now, I am pursuing chemical engineering in University of Wisconsin Madison, United States of America.
And now we will ask some question for you. KZ, can you please ask the first question?
Okay, so the first question is: how do you balance your time between social life, academics, and extracurricular activities while being in boarding school?
The key to balancing your time is basically time management, because especially in boarding school, I think it's like a lot easier to manage your time because you kind of have like a preset schedule. Like you go to class and then you have meal time, you have preps and riada. All of that are like repetitive every day. So to really balance your time is basically to use that schedule like very very efficiently, to use your time efficiently. So you're in prep. I know it sounds cliche, but not all of us do this. So it is very important for us to like finish our work on time during prep so that we can use like night prep, for example, to study for extra materials. And then for riada, if you are a workaholic, that's fine. If you want to do works, that's fine. But I would prefer to have a social life, because going to school is not, being a student is your priority, to study is your priority, but to have a social life, to have friends and build the network connections are also important. So you can do that during Riada. I w- I wouldn't I wouldn't condone doing that during prep. So um, I think that's it.
All right, thank you. And the second question is, what are your tips for excelling in SPM subject such as chemistry, physics, and accounting? Especially STEM subject lah, because we are Form 4 student, they are struggling with chemistry and physics for now.
Mm, I mean, I was struggling too. I'm no wizard. So, but like, okay, the first thing that you have to remember is not, never ever do things last minute. It's doable, but it's not good. You cannot, trust me, doing things last minute. If you aim to pass, okay, but I believe most of us here are aiming to do your best, like to achieve the excellent result. And doing last minute is not gonna do that for you. So what I did was preparing like a pre-class note. Like before entering the class, I would read the materials and then make my own notes. And then during class itself, you can make your own. You can add to that note. So instead of just going to class with blank brain, you already have like something that you can already wanted to ask or already know. So second is to communicate with your teacher and your peers. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because I'm going to be honest, I used to be scared to ask question, because sometimes we feel like some of the questions are, we supposed to know the answer to that, but that's why we didn't ask, because we think that, oh my god, it's such a dumb question, so we won't ask it, right? But trust me, asking is like the most efficient way, because it's like, it's a no-brainer. If you don't know, you ask, especially your teacher. They help a lot. Like um, back, I was afraid. So in chemistry, physics, it was okay. I think I did pretty good in physics, but chemistry, it was a bit hard for me to cope at first. So and also I also refused to ask questions. So that's when I did not fail, but I did like less good. So I remember this one specific scenario. um, um, I forgot it was prep or like PKA. Do you guys use PKA now? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we
Okay.
always have PKA from evening till night.
Right. Right. So this PKA session, there were no materials given. No, there were like trial papers given for us to like do exercises, right? So I was already like on the verge of giving up. Like I was like ready that chemistry is not my thing. But then I'm like, Sir Nizam is just down there. Why don't I just take a walk and ask him? If I don't understand, then I'm not gonna understand. So I went down to Dataran and then I don't know what to ask because I don't even know what the question was about. So I showed him the paper and he was like, oh, this is solubility of salt. And then he like start to explain like the solubility and how you can memorize it. I'm gonna gatekeep. So if you guys want to know how to memorize it, you can ask Sir Nizam. I don't know if he's still in Marisam Muka.
Yes, he's
Still.
going to teach our
Cool, cool,
class this
that's
year.
cool. He's a really good chemistry teacher. He was my favorite chemistry teacher. So yeah, so I'm at that moment I'm like, okay, from now on I'm gonna ask question. Like this is the shortcut. Nothing is. I'm gonna ask the dumbest question, but it's okay because like I don't want to waste my time not knowing. Okay, so like my third tip, yeah. Okay, this is my last tip and my secret weapon. I have this like small journal. It's like a classic notebook. It's like very small. It's like this size. It's a small one. You can get any notebook that you want, but I use like small notebook because I want to feel like Einstein. Like how scientists have this like journal that they carry around to write their theories. I wanted to have that feeling. So what I did was with this notebook for physics and chemistry, and also accounting actually. So I write normal notes that some things that you can get from your reference books, your textbook, your online notes, just some cliche stuffs. But then you will use these notes to basically answer the trial questions, the trial papers. And then after you finish those trial papers, you will use that, like any of the contents, like those cabat question, HOTS question, or like any new information that they don't have or you overlooked in your textbook, and put them in your special notebook. That's yeah, and that really helps a lot because a lot of things does not exist in the textbook and you have to find it out yourself, find it on the internet. But since I have that journal, I feel like um, it's much more resourceful than any other reference book out there. So yeah, that's my tip.
Okay, thank you for that nice sharing of tips how to study well, guys. Okay, so the next question is: did you receive a scholarship to continue your studies at university? If so, could you share the process and steps to secure a scholarship?
Mm, wait, why am I thinking? Okay, yes, I am under Petronas scholarship. It's called Petronas Education Sponsorship Program, PSP. I was awarded this in 2022. And so, right after SPM results is announced, you have to be really aware of the open application for any scholarship or sponsorships. So, depending on your results, you can apply to these scholarships. So, for these specific scholarships, it offered me for 2 years Cambridge A level and 4 years in the overseas universities. So for this specific scholarship, I applied through online application. Um, so there are like, after you got accepted, there are 3 stages after you applied and got accepted. So you will be called for the first stage, which is personality assessment. So this, it's basically just a personality quiz. They want to get to know you, and if they see what they like, you will be called to the second stage, which is the, I honestly forgot what it was called, but I remember it has something to do with like Cambridge assessment. They have a lot of like English comprehension, but I don't I'm I don't mean to scare you, but okay, it's not that hard. There are a lot of materials online that you can use to prepare yourself for this Cambridge assessment. So you can I'm sorry. So you can wait. I'm so sorry. I lost my thought. Okay, where was I? Oh, English comprehension. So there are a lot of materials that you can use to prepare yourself. It was a bit hard, but I think everyone did okay. So, and they wouldn't expect you to like score full marks at that time. So I think as long as you know what you're doing answering those questions, I think you'll be fine. And then that's the second stage. And then the last stage, if you pass all of these stages, you will be called for the final stage, which is group study. They don't have interview 101, but you do have like group study. This case study. So this case study, you will be called in a group, like there are a group of candidates and like a few of the scholar interviewers that will give you the case study, and they will observe you. They will like evaluate you on how you work with your group, about the case study, how you discuss, how you collaborate, how you include your group mates, and how you present your case study. So that's about how the scholarship process worked. Mhm. Yeah.
Alright, thank you. Next, I'm sure most students will experience culture shock when they enter university. So, what can you share us what are the difference in the environment between secondary school and university? Like, do you have to change your daily routine, study method, and lifestyle? And what was your first impression of the country you're currently studying it?
Okay. The major difference um, was freedom. I wasn't even in the US yet. I was in Malaysia still doing A level. I was in Taylor's College, Subang Jaya. So this freedom can either be a good thing or a bad thing. Because, for example, in MRSM we have like the light off at 11 o'clock, and then you have to sleep, and then probably the warden will go around the dorm to see if you're like in the dorm yet or sleeping yet. But in college or university, most of the university that doesn't, if you live in a dorm, some of the universities still have curfew, but most that I know doesn't have curfew. So you do have like the freedom, the privilege to like stay outside until like 2 a.m. playing badminton or like lepak mama, you know? So yeah, I think that makes a big difference because your schedule is up to you to decide. So if you think that you're good with your time management, sure, you can do anything you want. But if you know that you can slack off, then don't, just stick to your asrama schedule. But I wouldn't advise that though, because university, it's such a bigger place for you to grow as a person. So I did have to change my study strategy, because in boarding school we have to wake up early. It's like compulsory. You cannot like live in a dorm, you know. You have to. So I woke up at like 5 a.m. every morning to study, and because we have like morning call at 6:30, so I have a really strong motivation to wake up. I don't want to get booted out of the dorm or something. So but here, like this semester my class is at 9:55, so I can wake up at like 9 or 9:30. Nobody would care as long as I get to class before 9:55. But but the major difference is that in university there are a lot of gaps between your classes. Sometimes you don't have gaps, but you have like a lot of free time after your classes. So I use this free time instead to do my work and my homework and study. In While in boarding school, I can't really do that because sometimes during preps we have like a lot of other activities. So yeah, here you choose to have those activities or not. um and then sometimes, of course, I still try to study at night if I don't feel tired, but I feel less obligated to study, like push myself to study that much here, because there are like um it's like um how do I say this? No, wait, that's upside down. I'm actually feel more obligated to study here, because like here nobody is looking after you. You are looking after yourself. So, and plus in university, most of the university, the course are fast paced. So the teachers, the lecturers, the professors would expect you um to prepare, to read the materials, to already know the materials even before the class. So you will want to dedicate like at least 2 hours at night to study before classes. hmm So, oh yeah, my first impression for here, my my first impression was it was very cold when I touched down in medicine. I remember like two people, they are church people. They picked me up in the airport. Okay. And then I went out the airport. I was wearing like a blouse and a jeans, just normal, casual, right? Just normal outfit. And then I turned to this one girl and I'm like, oh my God, it's so cold here. And she looked at me. Oh my God, today is like the hottest day in the week. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. And little did I know that was literally the hottest day of the week, because like, it get worse. Right now, it's like negative, right? Wait, it's like negative 15 degrees Celsius out there. It's so cold. That is my first impression. But in terms of like study, I would still say like I was a bit shocked, because the professor here really expect you to know, like they don't expect you to read first, but they expect you to already have the knowledge before you enter the class. So you really have to like put more effort into preparing to class. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. So, since we know that we are student that are far away from home since we went to boarding schools, right? So how do you overcome homesickness when starting university? Moreover, you're far away from your own country, right?
Mm, okay, low key. I'm not the type of a person who deal with homesick a lot. I only feel homesick like on special days, like my birthday, because when birthday we are surrounded by people we love, right? Like our parents, our family, our friends. So, but I know that my family misses me too, so I would call them like every week at least, like during Sunday, especially like for the time difference. I will call them like at night here, which is in the morning there. So I would do that. If I cannot call, I will text them. So like other than that, like if you still feel like very overwhelmed because you're like homesick and there's nothing you can do. You already call your mom and your mom also say you should stay there, it's your job to be a student. So what you can do is like what I did, I will try to take my mind off of it by hanging out with my friends, because friends that I meet here are also making me feel like home right now. So that's important. You have to find the right people, find the right circle can um, who can provide you with the positivity, you know. So yeah, call your parents. That's it.
Alright, thank you. Next, nowadays, we know that teenagers tend to overspend their money on unnecessary things. So, how do you manage your finances while being at university? Do you have any tips on how to save money and yeah?
Okay. Speaking from experience, I did overspend a lot, but now that I think I'm more mature, so I start to like when I get my allowance, I will start with set an emergency fund. Like let's say you get 600 ringgit per month, so you would want to set aside like at least 200 ringgit or like 250. No, 150 for your emergency fund. I'm sorry. This six let's say this 600 ringgit is not including your accommodation. It's just like for your food and your spendings alone. Okay, so you have like 400 ringgit that you can spend. So from this 400, make sure to like in the beginning of the month when you get the allowance, you want to spend like this like 200 or 100 for your grocery. Make sure you buy your necessities first, and then you can think about something else. If you already have your necessities for the month, you already paid your phone bill, you already paid your utility bills, and you have like what 200 ringgit more that you can spend. You can choose. If you have like anything you want to buy, you can buy it just with 200 ringgit. Never ever touch the emergency fund because it's called emergency for a reason. I think that's like a small tip that I have for finance, because most of the time I also rely on um, the bank. I don't honestly. I forgot how how bank app work. Like I forgot how. I know that Maybank they have like how they have like a specific feature that will show you how much you spend, but it doesn't necessarily have the feature to like limit your spending. But I think you can do that. You can set some setting if you think that you cannot like you don't have the self control anymore. Then you have to help yourself with setting the limit through the app or like through the website. Yeah.
That was so helpful for students like us. Okay, so the next question is, as we know, studying could lead us to be stressful sometimes. So, how do you reduce stress or burnout during studying?
mm, Reduce stress or burnout. um my number one thing is I will start picking up hobbies. Like I can do the most random thing. I just make it my new hobby, because I feel like when we are stressed or burnt out, it's mostly because we are overwhelmed because of the situation that we can't control most of the time. So when I pick up new hobbies, for example, I started picking up. I'm not one for playing computer games, but recently I've picked up like Valorant. So because I can learn new stuff, I feel like it kind of gives me a sense of control. I feel good about myself. Like, oh my god, I can play now and I can learn new things. I'm actually pretty good at something. So I feel less burnout. I feel like less burnout. And plus it kind of takes my mind off of like studies. Besides that, um see someone, talk to someone, especially like at school, we have counselors. Like MRSM, we have Chigu Fardi, right? Is this still? Okay, yeah. I love my PRS babies, but I'm sure that they are also overwhelmed with exams too. So I think the best person that you can talk to is your counselor, no matter where you are. Even in universities, counselors are pretty accessible. And remember that in MRSM, the counselors are not just to talk about your problems, they are also there to give you career advice. So please do seek help from them. Um, but like my biggest like, okay, it's just an advice. Um, what you can do to like avoid stress is just try not to do things last minute, because doing things last minute is the number one thing that make me stress most of the time, and I think most of us here also feel the same. So if you don't want to feel stressed, then don't do things last minute. You can like do like, if you know like there's a big project for accounting, you have big project at the end of the week, so you do it, pace yourself. Like today, um what, Monday, I'm gonna start drawing the table, and that's it. And then the next day you're gonna start analysis the receipts and the invoices, and then that's it. You just pace yourself to do your work. Don't just cram everything in one night. That is such a bad thing to do. Yeah, I think that's my tip.
Alright, thank you for the tip. Next, you are taking chemical engineering, right? Can you please share more detail about the course you're taking? Like, what is chemical engineering actually? What will we learn and do if we take the course?
So, chemical engineering, this is like the universal definition of chemical engineering. It's basically applying both chemistry and physics knowledge to solve a problem, to engineer a solution for other people. But this is my lecturer's answer. I did ask him like, what is chemical engineering actually? So basically, in general, engineers, we know that engineers make things like mechanical engineers, they make car, civil engineer, they make building, I mean build building. But chemical engineers, they make stuff to make those stuffs. You know what I mean? Like they engineer the materials. So it is basically a combination of chemical engineering is basically a combination of mechanical engineering, industrial chemistry, and electrochemistry. I think I'm not that deep into chemical engineering yet, so I'm sorry. So I think that's all I can answer for now. Mm.
Okay, for the last but not least. Okay. Okay, last but not least, what is your plan after graduating from your university?
Um, okay, so since I am a sponsored student by Petronas, they sponsored me 6 years, so I have to serve bond 1-to-1, which means that I have to work for Petronas for 6 years. So depending on our market, I am planning to like still work for Petronas after those 6 years, because I think like Petronas is such a good company. It's such a stable company for oil and gas, and not just that. I feel like Petronas is also trying to expand their business to like other um, energy energy businesses like hydroelectric. You can search that out actually. Petra is a really good company, and they have also really good benefits for their workers, for their employees. So I'm planning to just work for them until like I retire maybe. But if given the opportunity, I I would love to serve my community back in Sarawak. And now that Sarawak also have like Petros, right? So we might see how's the market for Petros. So I might come back, you know. Yeah, that's my plan. It's nothing too fancy.
Alright, that's the end of our question. So now we will have a Q&A session. We will choose some random question from the comment. So the first question is, do you think AdMed is hard and how do you study for it?
At at Met, at first it was hard. It was, but I wouldn't say it was the hardest thing ever. Once you get the hang of it, you would be okay. As long as like I said, you have to like be put in effort to ask question. You just have to ask question, and then you have to like do a lot of exercises. What I did is wait. What I did was in the morning I would do like science subject, right? Like physics and chemistry. I would just alternate them every day for in the morning, but at math I would do it like at night, like every day religiously I would do exercises. Before the existence of like trial papers, I would do them subtopically, like no, topically. So I would do like topics by topics, and then like after trial exams I would do those trial papers every day, different paper different day. And then I will start to analyze like, is there any other topics that I still need help with, and then I will go back to doing topical questions. Yeah, that's for math and math.
Alright, from your Instagram, I found out that you do modeling something, right? So how do you get involved in modeling? Like, do your friend recommend it to you or it based on your own interests?
that's that's a, that's such a unique experience. Believe it or not, I was not scouted. Okay, um, it was such a random experience. I was walking around with my family and with my specific this friend. We were walking around the mall, and then I was like casually taking pictures and then walking. There's a ramp, like the modeling runway ramp there. So I was like, why don't I walk there and just take videos? It would be like so good for my TikTok. So I walked there, and this guy approached me. He was one of During that time there was like an exhibition for fashion people, like fashion designers, and he was one of the fashion designers there. So he approached me like, "Are you interested in fashion?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, that's something that I would like to try, because I don't know, it's fun, right?" So he was like, "Okay, you should show up for this modeling workshop." So I did show up for the modeling workshop, and then I talked to the modeling, what do they call, like modeling agency people, and then we kind of like built network, and then from there I started to like join their training programs. At first it was free, so I joined, but when they start to like asking for money, and I'm like, I'm good. And then like here in Wisconsin recently, we have like this fashion club. It's called The Vault. It's fashion behind business. They basically dive into the business behind fashion. So and then they have like every semester they have different fashion shows. So I joined that. It was just for a club. It's not like the the Victoria's Secret fashion show. No, it's just for the club, for the people here. It was just an expression of art, which is something that I am passionate about. Mhm.
Okay. This might be um, away from our topic, but what is your most how can I say this, most memorable memory in MRSM, and what did you get from MRSM? Like the moral or story that you must have MRSM.
Memorable. I don't. Okay, wait. I'm gonna have to think this through. Memorable memories. Because I do have like specific memories that I like, but I have a favorite one? Hmm. Give me a second.
Wait, do you recommend? Do you recommend going to MRSM? Like people nowadays want to be an MRSM, but yeah, do you recommend it?
um okay, personally, I think Amerisam is a good school. It's I think the selection is getting tighter, right? Is it? I don't know. I feel like okay, but it's a boarding school. That's one. I think I like people um I think I would like want people to go to boarding school because it teaches you like a lot of like independent stuffs. You get to like be independent away from your family at a young age. And um I feel like in a boarding school you are in a small community. It's just you, so you kind of know everyone and everyone kind of know you, so that's good. So me personally, I thrive in that situation because I feel like everyone know me, so I better do good because if I want people to know me, then I better be good at what I do. you know like be yeah. And also sometimes I feel like the competitiveness, people in MRSM can get a bit too competitive, which is good so that you can like constantly be your best. But as long as it doesn't get toxic, in my experience, it did get toxic a bit, which when people are trying to sabotage each other, but it kind of stopped because at the end of the day you kind of realize that everyone here is just trying to succeed with you, and it doesn't taste good when you succeed but you're alone. You have to have your friends around you, right? So it kind of like starting from there we kind of learn to like help each other, and it became like a positive environment for people to study because you tend to help each other, support each other. Yeah.
All right, thank you. I have one last question, I think. How do you know what course you're going to take in university, and how do you choose your dream university? Like, how do you know that you are going to go to the university?
Okay. First, you have to know what you're passionate about. But the thing is, what you're passionate about sometimes change. So you can think that you want to do psychology at the age of 16, and then the next year at 17, you would think that, oh my God, I think I'm better suited being an accountant. So like first you have to know your personality. If you think that you are good, I think Chico Fardi make you guys to do like career personality tests, I believe. So from this career personality test, trust me, it helps so much. It helps you to determine like what type of person you are and what kind of job environment that you want. So just because you're good with numbers doesn't mean that you can be, no, I shouldn't say that, but you want to be an accountant. Yeah. If you're good with math or like counting doesn't mean that you want to be an accountant, because being an accountant most of the time you would stay in office. But are you sure you want to do that for the rest of your life? For me, no. Okay. So I am gonna be honest, I'm not excellent in chemistry or physics, but I think if I work on it, I'm fine with it as long as I put in effort, and I kind of like it. It's very interesting subjects, and that's why I took chemical engineering. And because chemical engineering itself is a very broad field, so I can like dive into different field, different type of chemical engineering. Like certain chemical engineers, they go to like oil plantation, they go out and like help other engineers, and sometimes chemical engineers stay in the lab to do R&D, which is what are things that I love to do because I love this subject already. No, I don't. I like this subject already, and I also like hands-on activities like doing lab work. And then most of the time, engineers need to work as a team. So you have to know how to collaborate with people, including people that you don't know. So you have to have that in you to be, you don't have to be extroverted, but you just have to know how to be around people. And that's when I know I wanted to do chemical engineering. So why I chose this university specifically, um, one of the reason being like, it's the one of the best universities for chemical engineering. So when you choose your university, you cannot just, for example, you know that people in University Malaya is like for the smart people. So you cannot just want to go to University Malaya because you want to be smart like them. No, it does not work like that. So let's say if you like engineering courses, you have to like do your own research. Like what are the universities that are good for engineering courses, for medical courses. You cannot like suddenly show up like a random university for that medical. Yeah. um I think, yeah. And then like other than choosing um the the top universities for their majors, I think it's also important for you to choose the university based on like the location as well. Because like let's say if your parents, or mostly you, because this is going to be your future, so you have to determine it for yourself. So let's say you don't want to go to the United Kingdom, you want to go to US, so choose US universities. And then like if you like cold, then you would want to go to cold states. And if you like hot weather, you want to go to Egypt to do medical degrees. So yeah.
Thank you. Okay, there's one small question from the comment section.
Mhm.
Okay, there must something that you like at your study location, and what is it? And what's something about your Malaysia that you wish more people knew about?
um Hold on, can I see the question again? Okay.
What do you like in your university? What things that you like at the country you are currently living at, and what's something that you wish people knew more about Malaysia?
Okay, let me answer what I wish people know more about Malaysia. The food. Oh my god, I miss Malaysian food so much. I just want to come back just to eat. Okay, I'm in a public area right now. So like the food here, it's pretty decent. If you like Western food like spaghetti, pasta, pizza, and you'll be fine, I guess. But trust me, I love my ayam masak kicap. I want that, and it's not that accessible here. And yeah, I don't think like people know how broad our palate as an Asian is. So it's kind of hard to find food here, and I wish that people know that, you know. And then because sometimes people glorify like how food here are like it's good. Don't get me wrong, it is good, but it's just not the taste that I want personally. Yeah. So the thing that I like about my location, ironically, is also the cold. Cause like I've never been in the snow before. Like I've never traveled this far before, let alone. Cause like I for traveling, my family would like choose Asian countries, so there's no snow involved. So when I was here, I was like very very excited for snow, and I love that. And it's also cold, so you don't really sweat. I like the weather here. It's like if it's cold, then it's like windy, and then when it's hot, it's not humid at all. It's a bit dry sometimes, but that's okay. It's not like humid, and it doesn't make you smell. You know what I mean? Like when you sweat a lot, you have like a certain bad odor coming out from your body. But here, everything is fine. I think what that I like the weather here the most. Mhm.
Okay. So before ending our program, do you have anything to say to the students right now, these new gens?
um, I I think that the new generations are getting smarter and smarter. So I don't really have like big advices, but all I know is that if we know that we are smart, never get that ego, never get a big head from that. Because like you never know. Because sometimes you might you might approach no, sometimes situation might gets hard for you, and then you will crumble down because in your head you're just, I'm so smart, and then suddenly people say that something proves that you are not that smart, you will just crumble down. So never, okay, wait, let me rephrase this. Never put your pride on being smart. Put your pride on the efforts that you put in, because like being smart, just being smart alone doesn't take you anywhere. You have to like being able to use the smartness in you. Like you have to put in effort, you have to you know how to study, you smart with the people that you choose as your friends, you know. Yeah, and also you have to know to choose your friends. Like anyone can be your friend, but the true ones who stick with you through thick and thin, and the people who actually can connect with you, share the same sense of humor with you, and support you, love you for who you are, those are the real people that you would want to keep around until the last of your breath. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, so it seems that the time for today's first episode has come to end. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to Kak Jasmine for answering our question today.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
also to all the viewers for supporting this program. That's all from us. Thank you and goodbye. Thank you, Kak Jasmine.
Thank
Bye. Thank
you.
you.